And of course, Joel Campbell as well, who's been loaned out by Arsenal, seems for about 8 years in a row now.
I love Joel Campbell. I love Joel Campbell.
Welcome to 442's excited discussion of the group stage of World Cup 2018. We've already gone through groups A, B, C and D, and with stunning predictability we're now going to do Group E. Do look up those other ones though, they're quite fantastic. Group E, Brazil. What could be more World Cuppy than a Brazil team? And they're joined in Group E by Switzerland, Costa Rica and Serbia. An intriguing mix, but what's going to happen?
Well, a member of Team 442, our deputy editor James Moore, is convinced that Switzerland will top this group and that Brazil somehow will manage to knack it up. I can't see it myself personally, but...
Well, his theory is that this is how England gets the semi-finals.
Because Brazil would play, presumably, Germany in the last 16.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. Do you agree?
No. I mean, they're stronger than 4 years ago. They've got more attacking talent. Neymar is...
I thought you were still talking about Switzerland.
Neymar is better than he was. I mean, his ego is certainly bigger than it was. But you know, they have Gabriel Jesus up front alongside him instead of Fred, who was
dear old Fred,
hopeless. As good as, you know, Fred from Pontefract. Throwing Coutinho as well, a strong defence, an excellent goalkeeper in Alisson. You know, you've got to be good if you're keeping Ederson out of the national team. And
crucially for Brazil, they've recently had to learn how to play without Neymar. We saw at the last World Cup that the implosion after Neymar got injured, they just didn't know how to play without him. You know, everything about this team is built around Neymar. And so his current injury is kind of serving them well. You know, they've recently beat Germany 1-0 to exact a little bit of revenge for the 7-1. And this time you feel like they're more able to cope with a setback. You know, and just other players being able to step up and take responsibility in Neymar's absence, I think will serve them well, not only in this group but going forward. Past into the knockout stages.
Yeah, I think you'd expect Brazil to win every game in this group. They've obviously got the most expensive player in the world, not only got the most expensive, they've got the second most expensive player in the world in Coutinho as well. The one interesting thing in a little story in the first game against Switzerland is that I think in the Under-17s World Cup a few years back, Neymar and Coutinho were two Brazil stars, and they played Switzerland with a lot of the team, this current Switzerland team in that, and they lost. So there's a little story there that maybe Switzerland might fancy their chances of doing something similar again, but I think on paper Brazil should win this group.
There seemed to be an almost tragic fallibility about Brazil in the last World Cup. All the build-up, the expectation, hosting it, they seemed to be ready to crack up almost from the time that they were crying in the pre-match anthems. Yeah.
They were way too amped up for that. It's not a sensible way to approach a match where you're so pumped up before a game that you're crying, because then about half an hour in, you're going to be knackered. You're going to be emotionally spent, exhausted, and you've still got another hour to play.
You can tell that the expectation isn't quite what it normally is in Brazil. One national newspaper over there said that only 47% of their respondents see them as the favourites. Wow. That's got to be some kind of record low, when only half of the country thinks they're going to win the World Cup. It was much higher than that last time. Well, they start off against Switzerland, who might seem to, on paper to be the second favourites in this group. I don't know what the Brazilians think about that, but it doesn't matter, they're not here. Switzerland, decent team. Maybe not the group winners, unless you're James Moore.
They're lacking that bit of star quality, with the exception of Shaqiri, who usually turns something on at the major tournament. He got the hat-trick 4 years ago against Honduras. He scored the scissor kick at the Euros. So usually he produces something at these tournaments. They are reliant on that, because if he doesn't, they are short of goals, probably.
Switzerland, I've got down solid defence, indefatigable fullbacks, Xherdan Shaqiri and cowbells. Have we got any more for Switzerland?
Play with cowbells.
More cowbell needed. They're in they're high in the world rankings for a good reason. They're always qualifying. They tend to get through the groups as well. And you would fancy them, I would say, to finish higher in the group than Costa Rica and Serbia.
I think Serbia on paper again have potential in that team. It's certainly not. I mean, they've changed their manager since they qualified, which is very unusual. So they've obviously, things aren't quite right there. But they won their qualifying group ahead of Wales and Ireland. They've got players like Tadic, Matic, etc. Milinkovic-Savic is very highly rated. So they're capable of getting through for sure.
It's funny because I was speaking to one of our freelancers who lives in Serbia recently, and he says, the kind of expectation in Serbia has never been lower for a national team. They've gone through the Vidic sort of era of we can get to the quarterfinals or something like that, and they don't really fancy their chances, which in a weird sort of way could actually go in their favour.
Costa Rica, our resident Costa Rica expert Hitesh Ratnell, ladies and gentlemen.
They've got Brian Ruiz.
La Comadreja, the Weasel.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to.
Go on. You won't find a better nickname for any player in this World Cup than the Weasel.
I'm not going to pretend to be a Costa Rica football expert, but the fact that Brian Ruiz is still going strong for Costa Rica, probably not a good sign for their chances getting through this group.
I mean, I suppose at least they've got a world-class goalkeeper in Keylor Navas. I mean, Zidane, when he took over at Real Madrid, went on record straight away saying, "I don't want David de Gea. Keylor Navas is my #1 keeper."
And of course, Joel Campbell as well has been loaned out by Arsenal, seems for about 8 years in a row now.
I love Joel Campbell.
I mean, the thing, Costa Rica obviously reached the quarterfinals 4 years ago, which is hugely impressive. Just to get out of that group with England, Italy, and Uruguay. To win that group, then to get to the quarterfinals. But it's asking a huge amount for them to do that again, because people are going to be more prepared against them. And I get the sense from talking to people who've seen them that they're perhaps not quite at that level as they were 4 years ago.
I think we're going with Brazil top. Who's next then? Are we going with Switzerland and Costa Rica or Serbia got enough? Do you fancy Serbia?
I think probably still just about go with Switzerland, but like I say, Serbia could have a chance if they win their opening game and Switzerland lose theirs to Brazil.
So we're satisfied with that then? All in agreement?
So. Yeah.
We don't have to be in agreement. We're all grown-ups. We'll go with the majority, or in this case, the unanimity. For Group E, we have Brazil in top, Switzerland also going through, but watch out for Serbia. And if you don't agree with that, then you know what to do. Tap away, write nice things underneath this video and the other videos. Join us next time for Group F.